That's what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? So we're going to be revisiting a unit today. I think the last video of this guy was about 4 months ago, but because of the new Conquest of Terror category, it's a little bit interesting to see how much of a stat increase this unit will get, especially given the fact that transforming Cooler also does provide a boost toward the attack and defense based on the category units on the team. So as you saw, the stats were pretty much a little bit of an improvement. Causes supreme damage to enemy and massively lowers defense as part of the super attack passive skill. Is 10% HP recovery and attack and defense increase of 80% at the start of the turn, high chance of evading enemy attacks. But the highlight of this unit is the fact that this unit falls into both the Conquest of Terror and Transformation Boost category. As you know, the Transforming Cooler unit does provide different boosts depending on the circumstance. So it is going to be the Enhanced Transformation or Transformation Boost category. Allies get a boost of 30% toward attack and defense if you're facing only one enemy. However, if you're facing 2 or more enemies, the Conquest of Terror category units get a attack and defensive boost of 50%. So it's quite a bit of a boost, and you'll see that throughout this video and on a couple of occasions where, you know, the guy is facing more than 2 enemies. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, regardless of the case, I mean, it's 170% boost to attack and defense with the new category. So fortunately, again, this Baby Janemba does fall into both categories, so you definitely do get that full boost, and it's interesting to see how much of a play that, again, that Transforming Cooler provides with the passive skill. With that being said, you're not going to see the Cooler unit transform because obviously once the transformation takes place, the passive no longer exists, and given the fact this will be a showcase on the Baby Janemba unit, it's more or less to maximize the boosting abilities for that unit. I think in the past, when it was previously tested, again, it was about 4 months ago, I think the stats typically were around like 700, 800,000 in attack stats. So as you can see, it's quite a difference just from, you know, a leader skill setting and also the passive support from Cooler. So yeah, I mean, it's consistently over 1 million. Now, if you're running it on a realistic team where you're not having like double support rotations, it's obviously going to be a little bit lower. But in all honesty, like, of course, Transforming Cooler is going to be ran on a consistent basis. I mean, he's a leader for crying out loud. But even like units like EZA, Intelligence, Metal Cooler unit, you know, unless you have the agility version, you could certainly run this guy, especially after the Extreme Z Awakening. He's very, very good. He's actually quite good. So, you know, it's not even a problem to run that guy on a unit, or on a team, I mean. He actually does pretty well, and you know, defensively he's a little bit of a liability, but I think overall he's a very solid unit to include on whatever applicable category teams that you know, he falls into. Of course, you've got units like the physical EZA Kid Buu. You've got also the Intelligence Janemba with the EZA is also included because I figured it'd be worthwhile to see how Baby Janemba and also the original, I guess you can call Janemba, do well together. So obviously included on a couple of rotations here and there. The Agility Final Form Cooler is also included because, quite honestly, is a hell of a support when it comes to agility types. I mean, you're looking at 40% boost, and that is a hell of a boost on top of also sharing the Thirst for Conquest Link skill. And that's what's interesting about this category, right? This Conquest of Terror category is because pretty much the majority of units, if not all, that fall into that category do have the Thirst for Conquest Link skill. And that is actually a pretty decent one. It's a 15% boost to attack. So, you know, every percent counts, and the fact that pretty much all the units have that link skill is very interesting, and in combination of the enhanced transformation category, it's you know, I think this is one of those dual category leads that actually work quite well. Along with a brand new category, the transformation boost category definitely needed an upgraded leader skill. So because of that, it's working quite well. You know, a lot of you guys probably understand the problem with the previous leader, right, is the transforming Boo. The problem with that guy is ultimately links. You can certainly make sure the links are fine with the rotations, but depending on, you know, what units you bring on that team, he's a little bit of a liability at times, and that's the major problem that I found with the transforming Boo. I think the unit itself is very solid, but linking with other units is sometimes of an issue. Now in this case, you have the transforming Cooler, where not only does his abilities in terms of link sets have pretty good overall you know, flexibility with the units, but the passive also provides, you know, a boost to, you know what, let me check, because I thought there was a key boost with that leader skill as well, or passive skill as well. So let me take a look real fast, because I want to be sure I'm talking about the right thing. I'm pretty sure it provided a key boost as well. I'm actually pulling this up right now. I should have had this loaded up. Yeah, so even depending on if it's the transformation boost or Conquest of Terror, depending on the scenario of how many enemies you're facing, you know, you're still getting Ki +2 on each of the scenarios. So yeah, on top of, you know, having good link sets, it's a +2 Ki boost to allies, depending on whichever units they are. So that makes things a lot easier versus, again, transforming Boo. Very solid unit, but the only drawback I saw or I see with that unit is the fact that he doesn't necessarily link well with all the units, whereas transforming Cooler does. So that's pretty much a big issue with that. But you know, you can still make do with that, and it's fine. You know, you can certainly run teams just fine with that. But you know, I think it does kind of make things a lot easier with this new setting. So that's pretty much you know, my opinion on that. Don't, you know, think that I'm like undermining the unit by any means, but it's one of those common issues with the Majin Buu type units, right? Is they're definitely lacking when it comes to key links in their link skills. That's one of the issues I found. So like, the best example I can give you is when you're running a team filled with Majin Buu units, they're going to struggle to get super attacks because of the lack of key links. And that's, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know why they set it up that way, but it just seems like it is an issue for sure. So I don't know, maybe they'll fix that at some point, but for the time being, it's definitely a little bit difficult in that scenario. So back to Baby Janemba. Yeah, I mean, this guy is fine. I mean, in terms of links, he's got a pretty solid link set. I mean, Shocking Speed, Thirst for Conquest, Metamorphosis, Fear and Faith, and Shattering the Limit. Those are all pretty common links. He does also have Coward, which some of these units also do have. So I think in terms of, you know, the links amongst units in the rotation, you're not really going to be facing too much of an issue. Of course, in this showcase, you do see a lot of supporting units. So a lot of these guys do provide a key boost as well to allies. So it's not really a scenario you're seeing realistically by any means, but in order to really just, you know, showcase the unit in the best setting possible, that's pretty much why the team orientation is the way it is. But yeah, I mean, Baby Janemba, I think, is a very decent unit. The 10% HP recovery with the passive skill, you know, definitely helps. I mean, the high chance of evading enemy attacks is also very beneficial as well. So, you know, a lot of good skill sets within this unit. On top of that, you know, massively lowering defense from the super attack. So, you know, not the best of units, but it definitely does have a lot of skill sets where you see a lot of value in it. Especially when you're running, you know, tougher type settings where you're able to, you know, lower defense, or you need the unit to evade attacks or recover HP, where item consumption is kind of a factor. So in that setting, this unit is definitely beneficial and definitely provides a lot of value. Now, this is a Dragon Ball Heroes unit, so it's only available on a banner once a year, and it's actually coming up pretty soon now that I think about it, because of the November schedule. Typically that comes out on JP. It was a little bit different earlier this year because Global was releasing you know, Heroes and you know, the World Mission or whatever it was had the official release. So it was a little bit different this year. But, you know, we'll see how things are coming up this year. But, you know, again, hopefully you enjoyed the showcase for this unit. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.